Hey everybody, welcome back to the Resistance broadcast. We are the official Star Wars podcast of StarWarsNewsNet.com. I'm John, thank you for joining us today. Great show today because we're going to be talking about a lot of things going on in Star Wars news. From animated to upcoming live action, a lot of great stuff. We hope you had a wonderful weekend and you're kicking off your Monday here with us, which is always a good way to start your week, right? James and Lacey with me as always. James, you got the yellow makes a little too happen on. That's there's one on the planet and you have it. Is that a special feeling for you?
Who knows? There's a lot of bootleggers out there.
There are a lot of bootleggers. That's true. I got into it with one site and they were like, do something about it. And I was like,
if you guys are kicking around getting a Make Solo 2 Happen shirt, do your best to make sure you kind of figure out who you're buying it from, because there's a good chance you might not be. If you're just Googling it real quick, you might find something, but don't buy it from those guys.
We don't have millionaire backers here.
Yeah.
We do what we can with what we got.
You know, it's interesting you laid it out, John, because you are right. We're covering animation, we're covering live action, we're covering comic books, and we're covering novel, like written. Yeah, everything in the news this week.
Yeah. And Lacey, what shirt are you wearing? I cannot see.
Just says Star Wars on it.
Oh, I've heard of that. That's good. Yes.
Yep.
Is that a show? A movie? What is it?
I don't know. I just kind of found this shirt. Some guy gave it to me.
So, Lacey,
Goodwill.
let me ask you really quickly, because our audio listeners will try to guide them through this, but behind you, I do see your classic Akbar. Is he holding Rey's hand?
No, his elbow is pushing into her elbow to hold her up.
Oh, okay. I thought they were going on a journey together. I thought
they could. That would be really cute, but no, they
Rey,
just
Rey bar
holding her up because she fell recently, and it was everything toppled. One of my things broke. It was quite the event.
That actually would have been nice if Rey had met Akbar at some point, but not to be.
She could have if Rian Johnson didn't kill him.
Oh my god. Well, good thing we have Aftab Jr., right? The Emperor is dead. No kidding. Chris
Thanks,
Terrio.
Chris Terrio.
So yeah, we got a lot to get into today. Is there anything you guys want to shed light on before we hop into stuff?
Happy to be here.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking, did she really not?
She didn't.
She didn't.
She was at the Resistance base at Dakar. She could have, right?
Maybe off camera.
Off camera.
I mean,
totally,
if she
totally.
didn't meet Poe, then she didn't meet Akbar.
She did meet Poe.
That's a great point.
Not in The Force Awakens,
Not in
according
the movies.
to the movies.
Right. They meet at the end of TLJ when they fell in love at the end.
I'm Rey.
Yeah. Well, now we have a new comic book series to write.
Rey, there you go.
And Akbar hanging out on Dakar.
Or a new ship, depending on if they're holding hands or not.
Exactly. Rey, yeah. Rey Bar or Ak-Ray. Let us know in the comments which ship you prefer, and we'll light that thing up. We'll get that thing going. All right. One thing I do want to say to our friends over at Weird Brothers. We put together a coffee brew with them, and I'm having some of it right now, so maybe you want to think of that. The Resistance Brew. We paired with them. They're a small business down in Virginia. Go to weirdbrothers.com and look up The Resistance Brew. You can buy a bag of any size, any kind, ground up, not ground up, and you'll be supporting us as a small podcast and also a small business down in Virginia. So we appreciate them and appreciate your support. All right, James, we have a little segment we call the Resistance Report. You had said we're going to go through the whole gamut of all types of content, so let's fire that thing up right now.
It's the Resistance.
All right, well, it is now official. The weekend is over, guys. So, everybody has started watching The Bad Batch, and the ratings are in because we're looking at Rotten Tomatoes, and as of now, as of recording, 93% on the tomato meter for critics and 96% audience score, which actually, I looked at Clone Wars, I looked at Rebels, I looked at Resistance. It's the highest rated so far. So people are really liking this show. Episode 1, the big 70-minute Juggernaut, came out on May the 4th, as you guys know, and then the most recent one here on Friday. So I guess we're just going to get into a little bit your thoughts on the Bad Batch. I'm actually going to start with you, Lacey, on this one. What do you think?
What do I think about the ratings, or what did I think about the show itself?
Both.
What angle are we taking here?
Yeah, at the end of the show, I should have said this at the opening. I did a bad hosting job.
No.
After the middle of the show, you've probably been noticing we've been putting Ask the Resistance on the back burner a bit. We're going to do a bit of an open discussion on our thoughts about the Bad Batch to end the show. So like the back half of the show, we'll really get into it. Right now, let's just react to these ratings here.
Okay. The ratings aren't surprising to me because I think anything that Filoni touches, even if he's not the main person on it, it just automatically gets a thumbs up from a lot of Star Wars fans because they trust him. They know that he learned from George, and people love the Clone Wars, and this stemmed from that. So I'm not surprised at all that it's getting really high ratings with both critics and with fans, because people loved the last season of Clone Wars, and this is basically just a continuation of that.
Mm-hmm. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was surprising to see when I looked it up, because I was just like, oh, I wonder if there's already ratings for Bad Batch on, because I haven't seen anybody doing reports on it or trades on it or whatever. So I think actually Star Wars Newsnet, we might have been the first to like really put a spotlight on this, aside from obviously Rotten Tomatoes itself. But very surprised to see it, and not because I don't like it. I actually really enjoyed what I've seen from the Bad Batch so far. So I'm very happy to see that. It's just funny how in the, you had TFA and Rogue One, and Star Wars felt flawless and felt like everyone loved everything that was going on. Then TLJ hits, and it's this just wave of mixture, and it feels like everything has been treated that way since that time. Mm-hmm. So with the exception of maybe The Mandalorian, but it just surprised to see that both above 90, and that's very, very high, obviously even higher than some of the top-rated Star Wars movies. Now, granted, it is very early. Mm-hmm. There's only about 130 or so fan reviews, so that is a very small sample. But out of the gate, you have to be happy if you are the producers of The Bad Batch, because who knows if they've greenlit a season 2 or not. But out of the gate, early going, a 70-minute mini movie being approved that high, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely one of those things where I think if you look at it like it's a Clone Wars piece, then you have the original Clone Wars series, which was doing what it was doing. And then there's such a noticeable, in my opinion, such a noticeable difference between where that show left off, and then they took that huge hiatus, and everything that they've learned and the way the animation styles got better and everything. Like when they jumped into that 7th season, they really like honed in the storytelling of what this show is supposed to be. It almost like it sat with them a while, and they said, hey, if we're going to do this differently, let's make it a little bit better. Bad Batch is even a further extension of that. Clone Wars, it wrapped up. They saw how people reacted to it. It's probably grown even more in the animation world, technically. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into just the getting the right foot off on this series. That 70-minute thing for May the 4th, we kind of talked about that too. We kind of, it's not that we expected, but it's always would be nice to have gotten some stuff, and they really leaned into the Bad Batch, because I think at the end of the day they knew they had something special, and they didn't want people to report, it's Star Wars Day, what's out there? Oh, this Kenobi thing. They wanted people to go, it's Star Wars Day, what's out there, and lean into this show, because it was just going to, they had confidence that it was going to set up repeat viewers. Like if you watch this, you're probably going to be interested in checking out that second episode on Friday. You're probably going to be interested
it would have gotten buried,
seeing more. Yeah,
if something
it could
else
have.
Came up. Yeah,
it could have. Yeah. Yeah, definitely excited about the ratings and how everybody's been receiving it pretty well. Yeah. We'll talk more, I guess, at the end of the show. But let's move on right now to Andor. And there are no secrets apparently with Andor. You can't even really say like so and so reported this, because they're out shooting and everybody can see what they're doing. You're getting just about every fan walking around taking pictures with their camera and throwing it up on Reddit and other forums and sending them straight to us, whatever. They're near Lancashire in a place called, am I pronouncing this right? Clevelis? Clevelis? That's the town.
I see it as Clevelis.
Clevelis, yeah. Please. Correct us.
Our British, our British listeners are going to correct us, so we appreciate that. But you know the place we're talking about.
Yeah, they're but there's Shoretroopers out there. Cassian himself is out there. There's a lot of pedestrians and a lot of artwork and stuff. This is even more so than we've seen from any of the other sets because they just didn't seem to really care that they were visible. They knew they would be. They've got green screens and LED panels and all sorts of stuff. John, I'm going to bounce back at you for this one. What are your thoughts on seeing all this stuff?
It's crazy, and you're right. Like, these bits of news are coming from so many accounts now because one person in that area who's a Star Wars fan catches wind of it, and they're like, I know where that is. Like, I had lunch there the other day or something. They're going to go down there with their camera or their phones and take some shots. So, like, in our article, there's like 5 accounts. You have Cleveland's News, you have Andor News, Bespin Bulletin, and we take all this information and put it all together in Star Wars Newsnet in one spot so everyone can get a good look at it. This is like a big production, this show. Like, they're only going to be at this place for 8 days. But you have, they have fake palm trees that they're setting up. They're like, it's. I don't know if this is like going to be on Scarif, and this is like, oh, this is what was going on in Scarif before Cassian died there in 5 years. Like, I don't know, but seeing that there's like fake palm trees makes me think that they could be doing some Scarif stuff. They are near the water, I believe. I'm just blown away by how big this is because the Mandalorian. It seemed like it was. We're changing the game and we're all going into the volume, and this is where this show is going to be made. And there's a couple of lots that we're doing some outdoor stuff where we have a set for like a street, or Robert Rodriguez is going to go take us down to where people do peyote down in the valley, and we're going to shoot some stormtrooper scenes. But this is like, no, we're doing some big stuff here. This is like a Star Wars movie. This feels like a giant, massive Star Wars movie production, like a saga film, like kind of like Director and the Jedi or J.J. Abrams type stuff. And it also, like in the sizzle reel that we got in December, we were all, the three of us, remember saying like, that looks like prequel sets. The internal giant sets they were building. This is going to be a massive, massive production, this show. And as much as, we love the volume and all that stuff, even talking with Hal Hickel and how it's changing everything and making everything more budget conscious and accessible and also protective. It seems like with Andor, they're like, yeah, that is great, but you know what? Let's just blow it all open. Let's just get them all out there. If they want to take photos of Diego Luna out of context next to a trooper, fine. And you know what? I kind of like it. It's a little refreshing because it doesn't give us anything away, and it's just showing us like, Star Wars is still big game hunting with these productions, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, Lacey, did you spot anything interesting in these photos, or what's up?
I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the guy dressed up like Alan Tudyk in Rogue One with the same type of suit on, and he's like on stilts or something, much taller, and he looked, in the video part, it looked like he was carrying someone up the stairs, whether it be Cassian or someone else. So it makes me wonder, is this like where he meets K2SO before K2SO appears? Because with COVID and all the craziness and the pandemic, there isn't a lot of travel between the UK and here, or anywhere really. So I could see them saying, hey, maybe we'll have glimpses of him here and there that can do, he could do the voice later, and then have him play the part in a future season when we're not so restricted. Or it could just be a similar droid that just sets it up as like, hey, we know this character, we know what this character looks like. I can't wait to see him in a like being himself in the next season. But I mean, it's just really, really exciting to see Diego Luna on set, because it means that things are happening, things are moving. And when we got that glimpse last year, I think a lot of us were like, oh, thank gosh, like all this stuff is actually happening. There are some changes here and there, but it's moving and grooving, and things are getting recorded and we're actually going to see this project be completed. Because there's always that nerve-wracking feeling of like, what if it gets canceled? Especially in the past year when everything seemed to be getting canceled or people didn't move forward with projects. So seeing it in this space is really cool. I love the practical aspect of it. I love the volume 2, but there's just something so much different about being in an actual place that really adds to a movie or a TV show. And I also laughed that he was wearing that black robe at one point that they make all the people wear when they're not shooting. Because I was like, there it is. There's the robe.
There's that black robe. What, do you think it would be too on the nose for them to do Scarif like I'm suggesting? Or do you think that that's something that could work here?
I honestly thought it was Scarif because of the Shoretrooper, because the Shoretroopers are on Scarif. And I was like, it might be on the nose, but it just makes sense. That's like logic says it would be.
Yeah, that's a logical choice. But also, the other stuff is like, it looks like there's a lot of fans there. Or not fans, sorry. Citizens. And
it looked like a bar or something.
Yeah, or it just looked like an outdoor shopping area, and there's clearly stairs that are part of the set because this character's walking up the stairs. And I was like, I never really got that vibe that there was like a city
Scarif,
somewhere on Scarif. The Shoretroopers, I think, is interesting, but this place does feel like a tropical town. So, you know, it's not like stormtroopers don't just go to different places sometimes, you know, like in that particular outfit. So maybe Shoretroopers are stationed, you know, anywhere where there's like sand, you know, basically. Not even that, actually. But
I'm all for a new
place.
Somewhere
specific.
I mean, we thought Pisana was Tatooine early on, and it wasn't.
You know, and it's a spy show,
and
it makes me feel like it could be one of those like he's talking to one of those troopers. It looks like it's not like a I'm arresting you thing. It looks like there's a conversation going on here. And even one of the videos showed like the stormtrooper bailing and like jumping over a railing.
Yeah, I wanted to make a meme out of that, like like when your mom says something, you know, and you're like, you bail under
Dinner's
the bridge.
ready, you throw down the remote control and head up. But like these spy shows and spy movies always have like a meetup to hand off something, and like even like the beginning of Rogue One, you know, he meets the dude in the Ring of Kafrene,
Tivik,
and it's just one of those things where I feel like he could be meeting him kind of like in Jurassic Park. Like, here's the thing with the shaving cream, and you know, it just has that it has that vibe where it's like, yeah, there are a lot of citizens there and stuff. Maybe this is let's just meet in public so it's less conspicuous, and it's one of those types of scenes. Like, who knows? I don't know. But I love that we're able to start speculating on this show because we didn't get anything on May the 4th, so we have to rely on people and their cell phones and stuff to take photos of this stuff.
I saw a lot of tweets of people being like, I live half an hour away. I live 90 minutes away.
Contrary to what Lacey was saying about that being K2, I assumed that it wasn't K2 because of Alan Tudyk's involvement. And I was like, so what is this? Okay, it's probably a droid. It could be an alien of some sort. But the way he's holding those people, and there's like another guy that's getting thrown across, I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of getting the impression that this is like an evil droid. Like, would they make the villain of this show be like a Grievous kind of a character? Like an evil droid?
I don't know if the main villain of the show would be in this type of scene, if it's the type of scene we're thinking. I mean, you could be right.
Because the main villain's got to be Empire, right? Because we're leading into Rogue One.
Yeah.
What if it's another version of the security droids? What if it's
That's what I
the
said.
Same? Yeah, so it's not, but it's not K2.
No, I know. I said it could be K2, or it could be just the
something
same type
else.
of droid.
Okay. Yeah, I think you might be right there. I think it might be like a different droid, and they didn't need Alan Tudyk to play a non-K2 version, and maybe Cassian like they'll do some kind of fan service nod to like, oh man, I can't stand those droids, and that's like, oh, it's so funny because you're gonna be best friends with one in like an hour. You know,
I loved the picture where, like I said, it had the souvenirs. Like, it looks like it's got postcards and sunglasses like available to purchase. There's a bunch of people walking around with weird headphones and stuff. Like, they're just chilling. Like,
and we don't know what if that's not even that could be not even part of the shoot. That could just be an actual like
maybe
like
yeah. They still kind of look All that stuff looks very Star Warsy. Another thing too, the Interstellar thing. Did you guys see my tweet about that? I was like, TARS.
No. What did you say?
One of these pictures looks like TARS from Interstellar is standing there, and I was like,
Oh, jeez.
what are the odds that they would bring in like a TARS droid as an Easter egg? I don't know where that picture is. I don't see it in this article, but it was on one of them somewhere.
That thing looks like a refrigerator.
Well, we can move on from Andor and talk a little bit about Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is another show. Let's speculate a little bit about this. Get ready. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi actress Moses Ingram shows her lightsaber skills on Instagram. Her story. So she was posting. This is May the 4th, and she posted herself kind of on set, if you will, like in a back room, training room or something like that. She was definitely using lightsabers as part of her training, which leads you maybe to wonder what kind of a character she might be playing on this show. Lacey, I'm bouncing back at you on this one. What do you think?
This was my favorite story of the past week. I was so excited to see this video when it popped up. Like, everybody was just screen capping it and throwing it up everywhere. But first of all, she's got mad skills. Like, girl is talented. It was so cool to watch. I kept repeating it over and over and over again. And it's just exciting to see people holding lightsabers, because that to me is true Star Wars, is people with lightsabers. So the fact that her character definitely uses, I would book it on this, that her character uses a lightsaber. There's no reason for her to be doing that unless her character uses a lightsaber. Unless she's training with something else and then grabbed a lightsaber, but I don't think that, because when they announced the casting, she had said, I'm so excited to get to play with lightsabers, and then she's showing a video of her playing with lightsabers. So
yeah, she said, I play with lightsabers. Yeah.
I'm super pumped, and I really hope it's kind of what we were discussing when the casting news came out, of like, Inquisitors would be super cool, and I really hope she's a bad guy, because I just love a good bad guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that boat. I really would like to see an Inquisitor in live action, and I think she'd be good to play it. John, are you on the same page as us, or is that blue lightsaber throwing you off?
No, that's not. That was probably the accessible prop there. I mean, this could be devil's advocate. This could be a situation where she's, shows up for filming, and she's like, let's throw people off the set. I used to be in color guard. Give me one of those lightsabers. Let's throw something up on Instagram.
Maybe.
And she's really playing like a bartender or something. No, but I mean, she does have skills though. The behind the back twirl. Like if you're a Jedi, like you have to be pretty confident, because you're gonna cut your whole body off if you don't do that right. So. That's a move that I would not try, even if I was skilled with the lightsaber. But I liked what she was showing there. So if your whole theory about the Inquisitor thing turns out to be true, and she plays one of those sisters, or 8th sister, 12th sister, 50th sisters, whatever those numbers go up to.
Sister Act 3.
Sister back in the habit. Yeah. Maybe Whoopi Goldberg shows up as an Inquisitor. Who knows? But I think that would be very cool. It's another way to get Obi-Wan fighting people without it having to be the Vader situation, which I like. And then you got this other stuff, like, fans are so starved for information. Like, you got Noah Outlaw posting like a photo of a bantha, and it's like, yeah, I mean, and everyone's like, a bantha. It's like, of course it's gonna be a bantha.
Yeah. Tatooine.
They already got those banthas. They already got them made. From Mandalorian.
They're in a, they just have to dust them off. They're there. They even have
puppet
their own
already
toothbrushes now.
The puppet already exists.
Sure.
It has a dental plan.
Dental plan.
No, I think this stuff is cool. Again, it's just those little things that pepper you to get you excited for the show. And I don't know that we have to learn a little bit more about the Kenobi series in terms of its production to see if they're going to expand upon this area, which looks like it is in SoCal near Manhattan Beach, where they're going to be doing the indoor volume filming. So this could be similar, more along the lines of Mando, where they kind of had a set live action set near the location. I don't know that this is going to be as big as Andor, nor should it especially if it's going to be a limited series. But I am very excited for this series, and once we stop, they may keep him really protected. But if we see anything with Obi-Wan back, and does he have gray hair, or does he have a beard? That's going to be the stuff that people are really going to be like, oh my god.
I think we already saw his look.
Cool, but
Yeah.
I think Hollywood Reporter photographed his look for Kenobi. I think that is him.
what look? What are you talking about?
The Hollywood
the
Reporter
photos for the
photos.
Hollywood Reporter interview that came out 2 weeks ago. He had
Oh, I
the
don't-
full Kenobi look, like
Oh,
gray hair, like full
He
beard.
had gray hair?
Yeah, he had streaks of gray in
What?
his hair and in his beard.
So yeah, and another thing too, John,
like
is
I
like
missed-
if I saw that photo online like leak and it's like Obi-Wan, it's Ewan McGregor and he looks like he's got a beard and stuff, I'd be like, okay, that's not surprising. That's like a bantha to me. I kind of expected him to look like
Yes.
that. The Hayden Christensen on set is what I think people are
Yes.
going to be like,
Yeah.
what? Because whatever he's
Yeah.
wearing or any facial prosthetics or anything like that is going to be very telling.
I
Yeah.
hope that doesn't leak. I really want to be surprised by that.
Yeah.
I got the Ewan thing. I don't think that's how he's gonna look on the show. I mean,
I think so. He looked full
I mean, he's not gonna
grizzly,
be like-
he had full
Like his whole thing.
he had the full
doing
on
ballistic.
beard and like
No, all right. So hear me out. Let me try to compartmentalize this as best as I can.
I studied those photos. I know what they look
The
like.
beard, yes, is real. We're not looking at a Crix Maydean situation here, but I'm saying he hasn't been in. That's not him in the makeup chair. Like they may make his hair full silver. They may make his beard full gray. Like we haven't seen him as Obi-Wan.
I
We've
think
seen
that
Ewan
is
now.
him as Obi-Wan. That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't think so. I think
Okay,
that'd
you want
be
to make a
bit-
pie bet about it?
No, but I think that'd be a big mistake unless they're going for a cataclysmic event that ages him on a dime, because he can't roll in looking 38, 40 years old and then supposed to be the old fossil that we see in A New Hope 9 years after this.
I
So,
think he looks finely aged in the photos that he took recently.
no, we need as a guy with gray hair. I need more, and I need to see a lot more.
so
some
this is
of
a
these
personal
look-
thing. This is
It's a
not.
personal thing.
Yeah.
It's very personal for me.
No.
Yeah.
He in all these pictures, to your defense, John, his hair looks very well kept. Like
Yes.
Yes,
pomade,
but I'm saying the
like,
full beard
perfect.
and the way it's done.
Yeah.
Like he has longer hair. That's what Obi-Wan's gonna look like. They might fix his hair a little bit and make it look a little dirty. But other than that, like that's what you're getting, guys.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of the when the Lion King live action was coming out and everybody was like, first look at Mufasa, but it was just a picture of the lion that they were using as reference.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that.
And it was so weird because it's like, it reminded me of the meme where like the guy's like, and then he's like, I can't really say you're wrong on that. Yeah.
Right.
But no, I mean, yeah, this is Ewan McGregor, and they'll probably shape him up maybe a little bit, but you're probably right, Lacey, to the extent of, yeah, he's got this beard, and that's the beard he's growing for the show. You're right, you know?
don't
That's
think
the
they're
length
making him
hair
super
that they're
gray.
looking for, and yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you, to me, made it sound like you see him in this THR or Vanity Fair. That's exactly how he's going to look on the show.
I'm
And I
saying
just
that's
don't
what you're
think so.
getting in the sense of that haircut and that beard are what's gonna be in the show.
Dad
probably.
haircut, dad beard.
Yeah. John's over here is like, he's gonna look like Santa Claus or I'm not in.
I
I'm
didn't
not
say
in
that.
for it.
I did not
I'm
say
in
that.
trouble. Like, all
This better
comes
be
in.
like Santa Claus 5 or like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Santa Claus 5.
Yeah, with Tim Allen.
What are we doing?
That was
They
the
haven't even
joke.
made a Santa Claus 4 yet.
I don't know if they did. I didn't want to jump to conclusions.
They should.
Did they make only 3?
Yeah.
They shouldn't. That's another movie that should never have had a sequel. Those movies
I
are
thought the second
horrible.
one was pretty funny.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
2 and 3 are really bad.
Yeah.
But we end up watching them every year.
No, they're gonna age him up, and you're gonna see him show up and be like, oh, okay, there we go. That makes sense a little bit.
Let's move on to some of these other things really quick. Just to wrap up Resistance Report. The comic books are doing something really crazy. If you guys are unaware of this, they're starting a new series called The War of the Bounty Hunters, and the first issue starts with Boba Fett. But the idea behind this is it's going to be like kind of an ongoing series that's going to cross over with so many other comic series. So it's going to cross over with Vader. It's going to cross over with Star Wars Mainline. It's going to cross over with Afra. It's just, in order to tell the whole story, you're going to need to pick up this issue of Vader, this issue of Afra, then another War of the Bounty Hunters issue. And it also carries over into 4 separate standalones, which are doing a Jabba the Hutt, an IG-88, a Zuckuss, I think. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But yeah, they're doing 4 standalones, and the series is going to take place over like 6 months of issues. Like it's really crazy. So if you're interested in the comic series, this might be one to start off and dip your toes in a couple other series, like I was saying, Afra or something like that. Big crossover event, biggest one I think that they've done since Disney bought it. So get excited for that. The other thing we wanted to mention is that the High Republic has a new book coming out. This one's called A Race to Crashpoint Tower, and they released the first excerpt of the book with is it Polygon IGN? Is that the same company? But yeah, they did. They got the excerpt, and I don't know if did you guys read it, John, Lacey, either one?
No.
Okay, not interested. Yeah.
I'm way behind on High Republic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hanging on your guys' videos to keep up on what's going on.
Oh yeah. Nothing too crazy. You guys can pick it up. It's just kind of introducing the character and maybe a little bit into the villains and stuff. But yeah, look forward to that. High Republic Race to Crashpoint Tower coming out. When is that? Oh, this is Daniel Jose Older. Yeah. And I don't know when it's coming out. I got June 26th, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Nice.
29th. June 29th. All right, that is it for Resistance Report. We got everything in there. Lacey, what's up next? What do we got?
All right, guys, this week we're going to take a break from the pod race, but don't worry, it will be back next week. That being said, if you want to support us, there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can like this video, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You can follow us on all the different audio platforms, including Spotify, which we love, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon Music, Google Play. I don't know. There's so many. I can't keep up with them. Google Play. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN or on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast, which we're growing there, and we really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. If you want more than that, you can head over to patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. Starting at $2 a month, there's 5 different tiers with different offerings, from mailings to starting at $2, you get all the different content that we do, all the videos, but you get to take part in stuff through voting and whatnot. There's a Discord server, exclusive chats, and we have tons of stuff coming in June. We've done some new, we're going to have new tiers, a new tier, and we're also going to have other cool new exclusive content that we've been kind of planning over the past few months, but we want to put it out there in June. So stay tuned for that, but you can get in now and be ready for it.
Very excited for this.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So I want to take a second to thank our Patreon Generals, which is our top tier, our biggest supporters. We appreciate it so much. You are supporting what we're doing here and then what we will be doing in the future, not only this year, but next year when we get back to traveling and doing all that other cool stuff. So thank you, Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, NEEL, SHAH, David Probus, John RISI, Micah Harrison, Jetta Rosewater, Michael Gaines, Kendall Gelner, Paul Olson, Jake Houchins, Jeff Connery, Oliver Lewis, Dave Hornack, Frank Grande, Ryan Wara, Hass Islam, Joe Ritchie, and Val Trichkov. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means so much to us. And of course, guys, do not forget, we are 2 weeks away from Make Solo 2 Happen Day. We're doing it again. Hopefully this is the last time, because if it is, it means Solo is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Monday, May 24th. Get to your social channels with hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. Let Lucasfilm and Disney know that you want to see the continuation of Han and Chewie and all those characters, as well as just celebrating why we love Solo. It's more of
Yes.
that than anything else. So just
Yeah.
sharing your love for the movie and letting people know that you really, really enjoy it. If you want to be a part of something really special, you can send a 10 to 15 second video to resistancebroadcast@gmail.com. And we'll put you in a really cool video that we're really excited about. We already have a ton of great entries, so don't miss out. That's due this Thursday. All right, now we're going to head into a really fun end of show, Bad Batch convo. John?
Yes. So, as you may have noticed, for the past few weeks, we've been putting Ask the Resistance on the shelf for a little bit, but don't worry, that will be back. So we appreciate those. Always keep your questions coming in. We love making you a part of the show. You help us think of things that maybe we wouldn't always think of, so we appreciate that. But today, we're going to continue on with the sort of open discussion between the three of us to close the things out here. But just to piggyback on what Lacey just said, even if you're a shy person, record a video. Grab your phone. It doesn't have to be formal or big deal. 10 to 15 seconds. You know why you love Solo. You know why you want more Solo. Shoot it in your backyard. Do it while you're mowing your lawn. Whatever you got to do. If you're in line at a deli, go up, pop it with your mask on. Who cares? Send it to us. Be a part of the thing. Let's do it. All right. Bad Batch. Yeah, we're just kind of want to talk about what's been going on for these first 2 episodes now. Give our feedback, give our thoughts, flesh it out a little bit here. James kind of got to watch these ahead of us. He had the screener, so he was able to develop his thoughts and his reviews for that. So hopefully you watched his reviews over on the channel, youtube.com/Star Wars News Videos. Go check out the Bad Batch reaction show with James Baney. But I'll just kick off by saying I'm notoriously known as being cloned out. I think Star Wars does need to move away from that as a focal point of the storytelling. Now, I know cloning isn't really like what's driving the story of the Bad Batch, but it is about clones. And but I do have to say there is a heartbeat to this story that does feel more Star Wars than the Clone Wars did to me, because the Clone Wars to me was really, we're just going to tell more Anakin and Obi-Wan stories, and the clones are going to be a part of it. This really feels different to me, and maybe because we're not taking and molding and shaping and shifting stuff with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and we could focus on these new characters, so to speak. I like that aspect of it. So I have really enjoyed it. I feel like I'm drawing myself and caring about the characters out of the gate, from Omega to Hunter and the others, and even what's been going on with Crosshair. I like where they're going with this, and the 70-minute movie that I'm going to call it, it really did feel like a movie, because the Clone Wars movie is an hour and 20. This was an hour and 10. It went by quick, and I didn't find myself, pausing to, how much time is left of this. It felt fun. It wasn't too kiddie. I was a little worried about that. It didn't feel like Resistance felt for me. There were you have young characters here, but there's I feel like there's a certain change and shift in how they're telling that, and they do want to make it more tie into the vibe of how the Clone Wars rounded out in terms of storytelling. So I really enjoy that. One thing I got to say real quick, I laughed really hard, James specifically, when the title screen came up and it said the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then it burns off and it says the Bad Batch, and then it kicks right into Tom Kane doing the narration voiceover. Yeah. Which, by the way, from the three of us, we all hope Tom Kane's doing well. We know he suffered a stroke and was having some hard times. So we assume this was all recorded before.
It was good to hear his voice, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good to hear him. We hope he's doing well, and we hope to hear him again in the future in Star Wars. But it made me laugh because some people were, in comments and stuff, were taking shots at you for saying, surprise, Bad Batch is basically the Clone Wars. And as I'm seeing the literal logo of Clone Wars burn away to the Bad Batch right into a classic narration opening of the Clone Wars in the Bad Batch, I'm like, I laughed. I was like, I can't believe people were like, no, it's not going to be. No, it's not going to be. And that's what they did. So vindication to James Baney there. Great job. You absolutely
It's really funny because I think you could have thrown a previously on Clone Wars over the entire episode and you would have been like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason why it's not called Clone Wars is because in the timeline, the Clone Wars is over. Right. So you can't call it the Clone Wars anymore.
Right.
But then, yeah, it is about these 5 characters, and I get it. So, but I liked that they were saying, you like Clone Wars,
You're gonna love this,
right in your wheelhouse. So I've been really enjoying it. Now, I don't know who wants to take it over. People already got James's thoughts. Why don't we go to Lacey first, and then James could gush for as long as he needs to. But Lacey, you watched it the most recently of us, right? So
yeah. So I'm gonna shock everybody listening. I watched it.
Just period.
It was good. Okay. Here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to get through the things that irked me first, just so I could focus mostly on the things that I liked. The first thing that threw me off was actually Tom Kane's voice, only because it felt out of place. But I know that's what they did for the Clone Wars, so I get that. 2, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s grown-up voice for a child was very jarring for me, because I was like, what? What is happening?
These guys are the Bad Batch. They're my friends.
Yeah, like real deep. And
like Baby Herman.
I get it, because they wanted Freddie to do the voice because of the character and everything, but it was really jarring, because you see this adorable little Jedi come sliding down the hill, and then he's got this deep Freddie Prinze Jr. voice, and I'm like, whoa. Overall, though, I thought it was a really fun episode. I really liked the ragtag misfit group of characters that they have. It reminds me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy, where you have the big bulky guy that's kind of dumb but like really has a heart of gold, and you have the one guy that's running the show, and the technical person, the hacking person, aka the raccoon. It just was very predictable in the sense of you got the basic tropes and themes that you see in a lot of popular media, which is why it is so likable and so enjoyable, because you pull things from your head of like, oh, I remember this from this, and I've seen this here, and this makes sense. It was a little predictable as to what was going to happen, only because of those tropes and themes and stuff. You knew they were eventually going to go back and get Omega and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see where it goes once we've already seen episode 2. So hopefully if you haven't seen episode 2 at this point, you're jumping. But already it seems like it's going in a newer direction, which, James, I'm going to let you talk about that first, actually. But that first episode very much felt like a previously on Clone Wars, and they're setting it up for where it's to go. So I'm excited to see where the characters are going to be challenged and what kind of situations they get on or get into in the future, because this first episode felt very much like a very obvious, oh, Crosshair clearly is going to turn on them from the moment he tries to shoot the young Jedi. It's like, you know, he's going to turn on them. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch, and I'm interested to see what other characters they bring in. And I know I'm super, super excited to see Fennec Shand eventually.
Yeah, I think you're dead on with the predictability of it, and that's why I think there was a little bit of I don't want to say it was staleness on my end, because I was trying very clear to say I liked the show and I'm excited and I'm on board for this 100%.
They had to bring people in that hadn't seen Clone Wars, and I knew that's what they were doing, is they had to recap everything. So if you've never seen the Clone Wars, you were up to speed and you knew what was going on, and I knew that going into it. My thought on the first episode was, it's kind of like when you're explaining a movie to somebody and you're like, this isn't a spoiler. They say it like in the first 5 minutes. It's basically the premise of the movie. His dad dies, and then things happen. Like, you know, in that first episode that really all they're doing is they're kind of setting forth the story that we already know is going to be the case, which is like Order 66 happened. These guys, their chips didn't work properly or whatever. And they have their own mind, and now they're kind of on the run. Like, and that we know that there's going to be this Omega character because we've seen her in the trailer. So what's the story with that? And then that's it, you know. And they're kind of reintroducing people that maybe didn't watch the Clone Wars episodes with the Bad Batch. So it's like, okay, we need to bring in Tarkin and explain who the Bad Batch are and how they all have different skills and stuff. It's like, I don't want to mark the show down for that. It's just, it's the first episode, and that's what happens in first episodes. They kind of explain it's
what
a pilot
the situation
for any
is.
show.
Yes.
Any show's pilot does that. You're always like, okay, I know this already, or it's very straightforward to get you into it, and then it gets into the deeper stuff later.
Yeah. And
so I knew that going into it.
And they need to separate too. why this show is going to be different than the clones that have been in Clone Wars, because generally, even though those characters, they definitely do have different personalities, like Cody and Rex and stuff. But at the end of the day, they want these characters to have drastic different personalities, and that way it won't feel like 4 of the same people, 5 of the same people like walking around. It's going to be 4 separate characters working together as a group, because Tech is very clearly different than Wrecker.
Right.
Their personalities, their character styles, of everything about them is just completely different, even though they're clones, right?
Yeah, and if you want to be like Lacey, you brought up the Guardians of the Galaxy like comps, like you can make the Star Wars comps and say like Tech is 3PO and R2. And
oh, absolutely. I was just using
Han
Guardians
Solo.
as an example, which obviously steals from Star Wars. Like Guardians is basically
like
that.
Wrecker's Chewie. Like you know, you can. Those molds are there. And James, I think you're right, and I think maybe that's part of the charm that made me like this maybe more than the Clone Wars already, is because I had a very, very difficult time trying to connect with any of the clone characters in the Clone Wars, whereas this is more human. Because they have the unique individualities to each of them, and it's a much different. It affords them the opportunity to do more with these characters as people.
Yeah, it really connected me to Bill Burr's character in The Mandalorian, where he's realizing that he's made bad choices and done bad things. Like, they kind of have the same thing throughout this episode, where they have, well, maybe the Republic isn't great. Maybe these things aren't what they should have been, and we've been fighting for the wrong side type of thing. I think that that's something that was super interesting to me during the episode, is hearing those types of comments, because you're like, no, you are on the bad side.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Yes, you are bad.
I think what's interesting too is how like you were saying, it was hard to connect with some of those characters. When we got season 8 of the Clone Wars and we saw Order 66 happen and what happened to Rex, all of a sudden now Rex starts to feel more human than a clone. Because we pull him away from all the other clones who are doing set things. Oh, sorry, yeah. This is 8.
I just know people are going to light you up in the comments, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
This is 8.
Yeah. Sorry, this one's 8. No, but I don't know. I mean, I think you guys saw, if you did happen to see the Bad Batch reaction show, my review of episode 2, I feel like, we talked a lot about the first one. The second one is where it starts to go in the direction that I think the rest of the series is going to go, where you can start to be like, okay, I know obviously Clone Wars had like 3-episode, 4-episode arcs and things where the story continued, but it did feel to me, I was like, well, we're not going to get that. And it was nice to see the second episode pick up where the last one left off. Where's the next step in their journey, meeting these people and kind of, I don't want to say meeting them, but, meeting up with them and progressing as far as like the relationship between Hunter and Omega. And like, I definitely think like I said in my first review, down the line, I'm going to be really glad I stuck with the show, because I will have seen the relationship between all these characters grow and their adventures and their stories. And I think it'll be worth it. Whereas like we didn't really feel that. I mean, we kind of felt that way, I guess, with like Rex and stuff, but he's not the focus. He wasn't the focus of the Clone Wars, I don't think. And these are the main characters, so they're really going to put all their effort into their stories and emotions. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and on Filoni, like again, he always wants to beat home the fact that George Lucas made these as stories for kids to be able to grow and be able to make the right decisions, and it's about coming of age and knowing, to make the right choice in life and that sort of thing. And you have this young character here, Omega, and we don't really know anything about it. You had inferred maybe some force sensitivity, because it did seem like she was sensing something in one of them.
Who knows?
They said she had a high standard of knowledge or something like that. Wasn't that what they said?
Yeah, but there was one moment where it almost seemed like she was going to say, "May the Force be with you," and she didn't when they were leaving. And I found that to be interesting.
And when she's talking to Crosshair, she does that thing like, "I know you feel this way" type thing.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm interested in that relationship too, because I have a feeling Crosshair might be a reoccurring character. And then if they save him, like if they fix him later in the series, that whole discussion of it's okay, you don't know, it's not your fault, kind of thing.
Yeah, because she says that, and then he has the chip. Yeah,
you're gonna go back and rewatch that scene and be like, oh man, he didn't have a choice,
But they're introducing that famous Star Wars thing of storytelling, which is the found family and the father figure stuff with Hunter and Omega, and they really start pulling at your heartstrings here, especially with this second episode. So I'm excited to see where they go with that. A little nervous too, because a lot of these characters, we don't know where their fates lie after these events because of original trilogy continuity. I get that they have been able to work people around like Ahsoka and that sort of thing, but the more you add more and more of these characters before these events, it's like, all right, well, did everybody just say I don't want to be involved in this galactic civil war? But my lasting question on this, that we'll get answers at the end of this, because I'm hoping this might be like, all right, this is where we're ending the journey with clone troopers and that aspect of Star Wars storytelling. Is there going to be this mega genocidal event where all the clones are killed by Palpatine, or is Kamino just completely decimated by Palpatine because he wants to bring in recruits as opposed to using clones? Like, where do the clones go? Because as far as I understand it, the clones are not stormtroopers. So I'm very curious to see where this ends up and what happens to all the clones. Not from I care about them, just from an interest of story. To see how that rounds out.
I can't think of a clone we've seen how far down canon,
Only Boba Fett, really.
There was the idea of Rex being Nick Sant, but they recanted that.
It's only if Rex shows up in the Ahsoka series or in Mandalorian later.
But I wouldn't count Rex because he deactivated his chip. So if there was the chip's still active, a keystroke, and then they all die or something like that, which I think we would have heard about this if that was the case. There would have been some sort of crazy reference to the day all the clones died or something. But
since we've seen the Jedi die 6 different ways at this point. They love that scene.
And and they changed it a little bit, That was kind of interesting too. It took place in the day versus at night. I
knew as soon as that guy, the green one, walked away, I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna shoot her."
Yeah.
Anytime you see a clone getting a voicemail, you're like,
and then he's like, "Oh, gotta take this call." I was like, "Don't take the call." I just knew it. I knew it.
It was.
I mean, we all knew it, but it was one of those sinking feelings. They were like, "Oh no."
Commander Gray and Captain Styles were ongoing characters that were tracking down Caleb. And then in this episode they just made it Captain Gray and he's green, and it's so they kind of just merged the two characters and stuff, and I'm all for that. I understand that these are stories that are being passed down, and if whoever it is that's telling me this story might be Captain Gray, they're trying to remember it, all the details and stuff, and things get murky. It could have been 2 clones, it could have been 1 clone. I'm not really sticking to they got it wrong. For all I care from a storytelling standpoint, maybe the comic writer got it wrong and they thought it was 2 different people, but it was only 1 person. I'm okay to understanding the story from different points of view. Yeah.
Do you guys think?
Now I'm just thinking, anytime a clone gets a call, just run.
Yeah.
Run away.
You're like, no.
Take his cell phone and throw it in the river.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that's all we're gonna see of Caleb? Just as their way of saying this is how he avoided Order 66, or do you think he's gonna pop up again, and we're gonna see some post-pubescent voice to Caleb Doom throughout the rest of this series?
I felt like it was just an explanation of what happened, but I might be wrong. I just felt like it was this one-time thing that they were like, "Look, this happened," and then they
who called out Hunter by saying if someone jumps, you usually look down. Was that Crosshair?
Crosshair. Yeah.
So that you feel like him being suspicious of that. That's going to surface again at some point.
He wasn't just suspicious. He went and filled out a report saying that he was lying.
Yeah.
Crosshair's a big jerk.
That's what I said. Crosshair kind of sucks. No, I think it would be kind of neat, although I think Dave Filoni kind of said that they were looking for a character that could kind of set them up, and he offered up Caleb. So I don't think like long term he was part of the story. And we kind of know, we kind of know the direction that Caleb goes because of the comic, but like I said, they can change things up. The other thing that surprised me is it seemed like he had a relationship with the Bad Batch. We never got that in the Bad Batch were not in the comic. There was no, like, when he was running away, he had this discussion with this character or whatever. It kind of made me think that, like, if you are right, John, that would be interesting because they could kind of say, hey, it's you, and then he starts running away and they capture him and they're like, no, we're not bad, trust us, and like he kind of helps them or something.
And then Crosshair's like, psych, I'm bad, just kidding.
Yeah, and then he's still there and he uses his perfect sniper skill to hit the tree branch next to this target and not the
I don't
target.
like how he has like the tattoo on his face of the that was a little much.
Oh, that reminds me of what's
Bullseye.
his name? Well, no, what was his name from the Marvel movie that was really bad? And he, like,
Daredevil, Bullseye,
is that who it is?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Colin
dumb.
Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell. That's right. Yeah, kind of
I
dumb.
never miss.
Yeah.
There's always that guy. There was like the guy Legolas, right? They just there's always the never miss.
Yeah, but that
guy.
guy's amazing. Don't compare him to Crosshair.
Oh, he's a. I don't like that guy.
I love Legolas.
All right. The only thing good about Lord of the Rings was Sean Bean, and then we're gonna leave it at that.
Oh my God, Sean Bean's the biggest chump of the whole movie. He dies in the first one.
He set the tone for everything.
No,
okay?
he
Everything
did
else
not.
happens,
He was like the jerk
right.
that wanted to take it for himself.
All right. So yeah, let us know what you think about our. Do you have any other thoughts on Bad Batch, guys? Are
No.
we good for now?
No.
Right.
No.
All right.
Crosshair
Let us know
sucks.
what you think about our thoughts on Bad Batch. Leave comments with your thoughts, and of course, share the episode with your fellow friends who like Star Wars, because we're looking to grow here at TRB, and you're a big part of that. So thank you. And again, like Lacey said before, go to the Patreon, because in June we are going to be doing some great things. So at least visit the site if you haven't yet, patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. Check it out, because there's a lot of great things coming, and your support keeps us going. And like she said, there's a lot of things that we have on the back burner or plans that we want to get going in the future, and we need support for that to happen, without a doubt. So aside from that, thank you for listening and watching and being a part of TRB. Subscribe everywhere. You can do all that, but also make sure you're going to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. All the articles we went over today were from our site, and you could find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. And tomorrow, my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies, we're putting out our episode on Ghostbusters. So if you like Ghostbusters, find us on all podcast platforms, subscribe, and check us out. James, where are you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks, and also get used to hearing this, the Bad Batch reaction show every Friday morning. So if you are watching the episodes early, then you can check that out right away. Or if you watch it Friday, make sure you go back when the episode is done and give us a like, give us a comment, give us a view, please. Check it out.
Yeah.
And hit me up if you are a patron or something like that in our chat, main chat or privately. I don't care. Just let's talk Bad Batch.
Nice. Absolutely. Lacey.
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gilleran. I don't have
All right.
anything going on, per usual.
You say that every week.
I know.
Because I don't.
We always have stuff going on.
Hasbro article went up. Yeah.
We should
That's
we should
not
do
something I'm doing right now.
we should do a Bad Batch reaction show where Lacey reacts to James's reaction.
Nah, I'm gonna not do that.
All right, we'll see you guys on Thursday, where we're gonna try something new that we haven't done before. So we're gonna see how it goes, but we're going to take Solo: A Star Wars Story and see if we could break it up into pieces to see what it would have been like if it was released as a Disney Plus series. So think about that and enjoy your weeks, and we'll see you Thursday morning with another episode right here on the Resistance Broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.